Buckle up, we're passing a law today! One of the most important things the legislature does is pass laws, but they can't do it willy-nilly. There's a system, there's rules, there's standing orders. Hi, I'm Rowan, and today we're going to follow a bill as it goes through the stages of becoming a law. Now, a bill is what we call a proposed law. Bills can come from a few different places. Citizens may lobby their public officials for a change to the law, a parliamentary committee might prepare a bill, and civil servants may propose changes relevant to their expertise. Often, it's a combination of these different forces. These suggested changes are then brought to lawyers who work for the legislature, who take that idea and make it an actual law that follows legal norms. They look for where it might conflict with existing laws and policy as well. No matter who is asking for change, a bill is always sponsored by a member of parliament or a senator. When you hear about a bill or go on the parliament website, you're going to see it referred to as C or S, followed by a number. C's are bills starting in the House of Commons, and S's are from the Senate. The number is in the order they were introduced, so we can all keep track of it across the language divide, or even if the title changes entirely. A bill can start in either the House or the Senate, but then has to be passed by the other chamber. If this is a bill that will change how money is spent, it needs to originate in the House of Commons from a cabinet minister. Most bills today come from the government with a cabinet minister sponsoring it, and they get a lot of the legislature's time. If a bill is being sponsored by a backbencher, it's called a private member's bill, and those are much more difficult to pass. We're taking the easy route. This is a government bill. A bill will need 3 readings in the House. Way back in the day, and I mean centuries ago in England, the first reading was actually a reading of the entire bill instead of providing handwritten copies to everybody, which would be a pain. The first reading is more of a formality, and there is no debate or vote. It's more formal notice that a bill is being introduced. Nowadays, legislation is way more complicated, so they don't read the entire thing. They just send it to the printers and post it on the government website so everyone can read it in their own time. The second reading is where the debate really starts, where amendments get suggested, and this is the first time a bill might get voted down. Assuming the House of Commons likes it, it is an approval in principle, and is referred to a committee. Sometimes the House only sort of supports the bill, so instead of passing the second reading, they send it to committee without approval. The committee sits down and goes through the bill in its entirety, clause by clause. They also hear from experts and interest groups to suggest amendments. When the bill is supported in principle by the House, then the only restriction is that they can't change the intent of the bill. If it hadn't been approved, then they can suggest any change they want. This bill and all the new amendments get sent back to the House again in the report stage. MPs can then debate on which amendments to approve, or they might like the original bill and keep it. MPs who weren't on the committee can also approve amendments at this time. Now, if it passes, it goes to the third reading. Debate is usually shorter on this one because everyone's had their say during all the previous stages, but there is still time to suggest amendments and send it back to committee. There's always time for a committee. When it passes, it's off to the Senate. These 3 stages have to happen. In parliamentary procedure mandates that there be a few days between each stage to make sure that legislators are taking time to talk and consider a bill. However, if the House agrees in a unanimous vote that it is important or an emergency, they can push the bill through all the stages in a single day. This is super rare. The Senate is pretty much the same process, but now with senators. First reading is an introduction, the second reading has debate, and it might get referred to a committee for amendment. Then the third reading. If the House or Senate decides they want to amend a bill that already got passed by the other chamber, then the new version of the bill has to get sent back to that original House for one more vote. If the chambers disagree, then they have to sit down, have a conference, and hash things out. What if they keep disagreeing? The bill doesn't get passed. The Senate can't veto legislation. If they vote it down, the House of Commons can amend it and try again. However, there is a time limit. When an election is called, all bills that haven't been passed get withdrawn, so the new parliament can start fresh. The Senate liked our bill, so it's now off to the Governor General for royal assent. The Governor General signs it alongside a witness, and then it's a law. We've made it! We banned socks! Thanks for watching. We do a new video on Canadian civics every month, so be sure to subscribe if you want to see more, and comment below if you have any questions that you want answered. To understand how a province makes a law, just watch this video again and ignore everything I said about the Senate, and the royal assent is given by lieutenant governors, not the Governor General. That's it. Westminster system, baby. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah! When it passes, it's off to the Senate. Goodbye.
Bye.